Do these look similar to you? Do they? Well, I'm here to tell you the difference between them. C++ was actually created as a C extension in order to make it more efficient and able to use high-level programming things. As you probably understand, it means that C and C++ are very similar. But there are still differences between the two. I mean, it wouldn't make much sense to do a version of something that is more or less the exact same thing. Right? But as I said, C and C++ are very similar in a lot of ways. In fact, most code you write in C could be executed in a C++ compiler. Okay, but what are the differences? The main difference between C and C++ is that C is a procedural language, while C++ is an object-oriented one. Depending on your knowledge about programming, that last sentence either made a lot of sense or was just a complete clusterfuck. A procedural language is a language that is divided into a bunch of different functions. These functions are then executed in order from the top to the bottom. However, an object-oriented language is divided into different sections called objects, and it follows a bottom-up approach, which means that it first focuses on building the small things. Small things like classes, then the objects, and finally getting everything together to build large structures. C++ is a mixture between the two and can use both. Of course, this gives it an edge over C, since C only supports procedural language. In other words, C can't use things like objects and inheritance. Another big difference between the two is how they handle memory. In C, we need to control the temporary memory manually. We do this by using the functions malloc and free. If you want to know more about this, I suggest that you go and watch my video about the stack and the heap, and the one about malloc, calloc and free. And while you're already doing that, you can watch my one about nmap. Then of course the one about argc and argv. And just to finish off nicely, check out the one about stockfish. In C++, however, the allocation and deallocation is handled automatically by the system. When you create an object, a constructor creates it and the deconstructor deletes it when it's done. However, you can use things like new in C++, but it's often recommended to use constructors and deconstructors. C++ supports something called function overloading, which means that it is a bunch of different functions with the same name. But how is that useful, you may ask? Well, let's say we have this scenario. We want to add an integer and a double and then print out the result. So we first ask for an integer by the user, then we ask for a double, and the program then first adds the integer provided by the user with 2. It does this by using our first add function that is accepting 2 integers. Then the program uses the second add function to add the doubles together. Finally, it uses a third add function that accepts an integer and a double and then prints the sum out. Of course, in this example we don't have to use function overloading. We could just make the same functions but with different names. However, as you see, it is much easier to use function overloading in this example. We don't have to think about which variable types we are sending in. We just have to use the L function. Okay, so in short, the main difference between the two is that C++ has much more functionality in ways to use it. And with all this in mind, you can probably guess that C++ is more or less just a better version of C. Well, you're wrong. Let's go through why C is better than C++. First off, I mean, just look at this. Public here, public there, public everywhere. Template. Oh, and don't even get me started on this. The response is supposed to be helpful, not some riddle. Here, choose between 2 pills. One forces you to only code in C++ and one to kill yourself. I know which pill I'm choosing. Thank you. See you in the next video.